Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of No Holds Barred, our sort of end cap to our journeys, our thoughts videos, our way of me getting all of my thoughts of a game out in the open as soon after we've finished a journey, and oh, what a journey it has been this time. So, in case you haven't noticed from the title or even the screen up there, we have just completed our playthrough of Ghost Tsushima on hardest difficulty to platinum. Actually, I think what we can do here is boop, 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 just to prove it, platinum. So there we go. We have completed this game. Well, I say completed. We've still got a few collectibles here and there to get, but we've got all the trophies, we've done all the story, we've unlocked every weapon upgrade, we've unlocked every location on the map, we have done nearly as much as you can. There's, like I said, there's still some banner collectibles and a few records and Mongol artifacts for us to get, only about 3 or 4, which we will do on the next stream after this. But, for the most part, it's done. We have finished the game, and so now it's time for me to basically gush about it, because that's all I can really do at the minute. Coming into this game, I'd already seen a few bits and pieces on Carnage's stream, so if you've not seen him, brilliant chap, I'd recommend giving him a watch. But yes, I saw a bits and pieces here on Twitch, and I thought it was interesting, so you know what, I decided, right, that's it, cold turkey, no more videos, I'm going to do a playthrough of it on the channel, on the stream, and oh man, I'm so glad I did. This has easily clocked in as my game of the year so far, and it is going to take a hell of a lot to knock it off that perch. From the opening scene where you are fighting in the first battle for Tsushima to beat the Mongol hordes, and you are just riding along a beach, slashing down the Mongols as you fight for your life. It had enough to grip me into it, and then the story just didn't let up from there. It has made me laugh, it has nearly brought me to tears, it has been an absolute joy to play. I am so besotted with this game. Story-wise, the story is very evocative of old samurai films like Seven Samurai and Crimson Throne and The Last Fortress. It's very much the... I forget the director's name. Conveniently, however, there is an option for that in this game. If you give me a minute, display, there we go. Kurosawa. I mean, how much more do you need to say how much of an influence he was on this game? They've got a Kurosawa mode, which will put the entire game in black and white cinematic for an immersive experience. It's very evocative of Kurosawa's films. The story is fantastic. They've even used some of the old directory tricks. If you've ever watched any of the original Star Wars, the cutaways where it's like a couple of... if you've ever seen it, you'll know the cutaways where the scene transition from one end to the other. That was a Kurosawa technique from The Hidden Fortress, and they've used it in this game. The cutscenes are, from what I can tell, all in engine, and what an engine it is. Everything is beautiful. It is one of the most scenic and beautiful games I have played in a long time. The sunsets are something to behold. The wind blowing through the trees, starting from the main island where it's in summer and finishing off in the winter areas of the frozen wastes up north. It is a truly beautiful game, and one of the great things about it is, yes, they've put a lot of effort into the graphics. Yes, it is a beautiful game, and I'm sure it's pushed my PS4 Pro quite a bit in terms of the graphic capabilities. They've not gone overboard. Some games these days, off the top of my head, Red Dead Redemption 2 and The Last of Us 2, they do beautiful games, but they go a bit overboard. They do everything in intricate, tiny details. You skin an animal and you have to sit there watching an animation, or you upgrade a weapon and you have to sit there watching an animation. None of that here. It is literally bang, 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 very little breaks up the action. You kill an animal for its pelt, well, you press a button and you pick up the animal pelt, and then that's it, it's done, and you don't have to worry about it. You can just keep going. It is a game. It feels, it's a cinematic, the game is very cinematic, it's very beautiful, but it still feels like a game, and that seems to be a rarity these days. I'll talk about graphics. Story-wise, absolutely fantastic. Characters, I have loved them all. I have loved each and every one of them. Khotan Khan makes a fantastic villain as far as I'm concerned. He is rude, he is clever. The end fight with him, I think, could have ended a bit better. I'm not, no spoilers here. I mean, obviously, you know from the outset that he's the main baddie and you're going to kill him in the end. But I don't know. I think they could have probably changed the final fight around a bit more to make it, to sort of push it back into that cinematic element as it was. But as it stands, combat, well, mentioning the gameplay and the combat is fantastic. I love the sword play. It does feel clunky at times. One thing that has driven me mad with this game, well, two things actually, and it's in the combat system. The way you target enemies is by pointing the camera at them, which it sort of does a soft lock. Sometimes, however, it goes horribly wrong, and even when you're in a one-on-one duel with someone, you can end up turning your back on them, and then they just get a few pot shots off on you. Maybe that's because I need to work better on practicing the game, but after 60 hours, I think there might just be some balancing issues. Another one is you have a standoff mechanic. So when you approach a group of enemies, you can press up on the D-pad in order to call out to them, and then you go on a sort of one-on-one quick-time event. You hold down the triangle button, and at the right moment you release it, and you cut down your enemy in one swing. However, sometimes you initiate a standoff, and when you need to see your opponent to see when you hit them, there's a tree in the way. And if you're lucky, you can figure it out, but probably not. So yeah, sometimes the camera can be a bit janky here and there. Controls as well. You as the main character, Jin, you have an arsenal of weapons. It sort of reminds me of Mass Effect in a way. Obviously, you've got your sword, but on your sword you have 4 stances you can use. So an enemy with a shield, you use one stance. Spears, you use another stance. You don't have to, but it's beneficial if you do use the correct corresponding stance to the enemy you're fighting. However, the game can be a bit tricky sometimes. It's the same with your ghost weapons. You have an arsenal of throwing knives and sticky bombs and other bits and pieces. You have a bow, 2 types of bow, and smoke bombs and other bits and other gadgets and grenades. However, what I think could have benefited the game massively here is a Mass Effect style weapon wheel. In Mass Effect 2, for example, when you select a different weapon, the game slows down. It goes like into a sort of Matrix focus mode, allowing you time to select your weapon without the enemies rushing you. This game would have done fantastic for something like that. I know it's designed to have you in the action and if you think quickly on your feet, but at the same time you've got so many different sub-menus that you're trying to use during combat. It is very easy to try and select something and you either select the wrong thing or you get pelted or you take a spear to the face. I had that towards the end of the game in the final confrontation where I was trying to select something and I ended up selecting something else entirely, not realising it because I hit the wrong button. So yeah, some bits of the combat system could be fine-tuned. It's not game-breaking. It didn't take away the enjoyment of it. Was it frustrating at times? Just a bit. But for the most part, no, I can't say it's a game breaker. It is not a deal breaker by any means, but at the same time, I would be amiss if I did not mention it. Other than that, travelling around the world. Yes, another thing about the world is the world map. Now, as you venture, Tsushima is a big place. The game focuses very heavily on exploration. However, one thing that I find quite annoying is the mist that covers the map. I know it's there to push you. You can't see the map, so you have to go exploring. You explore so you can unlock fast travel locations. Sometimes you come across a settlement taken over by Mongol forces. Once you rescue the settlement, it unlocks a large chunk of the map. However, that's the only time. So for a lot of it, if you want to uncover everything, for our playthrough, I have uncovered the entire map, every inch of it. Well, most of it. There's small pockets of mist here and there that I've missed, but everything so far, I've cleared the map. What they could have done better here is when you clear a Mongol encampment, when you find a fox shrine, when you find a hot spring, when you find a bamboo strike, when you find any sort of small hamlet or a survivor camp, you unlock a large chunk of the map. And they could have broken it up into those segments, sort of like the viewpoints from Assassin's Creed, where less so you just climb a tower and then you scan the area and it unlocks an entire map and everything around it. No. You explore the map and then you find one sort of hub location which opens up that part of the map, so all the undiscovered locations then ping up so you can know that you can go and find them. That would have worked much better than the whole ride your horse around in circles for 15 minutes uncovering this mist off the map. It makes exploration a bit tedious towards the end, but once again, it's hardly a deal breaker because as you progress, if you just want to focus on the main story, there's no issue there. You've got markers, it takes you there. You come across that you've got a bird that suddenly appears if you're near an undiscovered location that guides you to it. So you're not completely on a ledge there, but I thought it would just be a more refined way of doing things. Music, because obviously I can't talk about this game without the music. They've been very much true to Japan with the music. All the musical influences, from what I can tell, are traditional Japanese instruments and music styles, and the soundtrack is beautiful. It doesn't happen very often. It's like Breath of the Wild on Switch. Well, like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, obviously it's on Switch. There's a lot of ambience. There's a lot of riding through fields where it's just the sound of your horse and the wind rustling through the trees. But you do get those little motifs of soundtrack. And when they happen, oh, it is beautiful. There is nothing better than standing there, facing off against an assassin or a ronin in a one-to-one duel as an epic music piece is playing in the background, in the backdrop of waves crashing on a shoreline or wind blowing through a grass field, or standing under a autumn tree, and it's absolutely beautiful. It is a beautiful game, it is fantastic, and it's also heartbreaking in a lot of ways. I won't spoil the story. I've tried very hard so far not to spoil the story, but it is one that, if this game at all gets your interest, in the slightest, if you have seen any footage of it, if you've seen the trailer and you thought that looks interesting, you play it, give it a try, because I can guarantee, I'm sure it will be worth it. It will be worth the cost, because they have Sucker Punch. You sirs, ladies, you are all absolutely fantastic. You have done a brilliant job on this game, and I can't wait to see what else you pull off, because, man, I know you have a long history. You've done Infamous, you've done Sly Cooper. I'm afraid to say I've only ever played Infamous 1, and I've never touched Sly Cooper, but with this game, I'm curious to see what else your studio's done. I'm curious to see where you go in the future, because this has been an utter joy. I'm trying to think now, is there anything else I've not covered? Have I gushed enough about what I love about this game? Have I covered everything that I found annoying? Towards the end, maybe. Some of the enemy spawning, the amount of Mongols I had to fight, I may have found a bit tedious, but that was because I was exploring everywhere and trying to uncover the entire map. Some of the controls can be cluttered, like I mentioned before, with the with swapping between so many weapons. You've got everything mapped to triggers. It's a very deep control system. You've got a menu mapped to pretty much all 4 of the shoulder triggers, and then through the D-pad and the main buttons. So yeah, it can be quite confusing at times. I think with a slowdown system, like on the bows, you press the analog stick and it slows down time. I think if they applied something like that to the weapon wheels, that would be much better. I think it doesn't have to be to the same extent as the bows, because the enemies don't need to move that much slower for you to figure out where the button you need to press is. But it mean you'd have be able to do a better variety of weapons as you fight the enemies. I think that's it. I think I'm gonna kick myself later, because I'll probably realise I missed out something major. But for the most part, that's it. I'm not going to give this game a score. This is not what the No Holds Barred videos are about. This is just my thoughts, my feelings about a game, and whether I can recommend it, and I can unequivocally say, yes, I recommend this game. And with that, I think it's probably best that I sign off before I start repeating myself. So, thank you very much for joining us for this edition of No Holds Barred. Thank you for listening to me rant about my love of this game. Hopefully, I will see you on the channel sometime in the future, be it here on YouTube or on Twitch. All the links are in the description below. If you enjoyed what you saw here, well, I really appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button, but the decision will always be yours. And to each and every one of you, I hope you have a beautiful evening, morning, or afternoon, wherever it is around the globe you are. And as always, until our paths next cross again, the vortex awaits. I'll see you all next time.